Hello, everyone.
Hi. Sorry, go ahead. They're saying hello to me. Hi, sorry.
No, so hello, everyone. And tonight we are having a special guest, very successful speaker from Seller Optimization Summit back in April 2017. It's Diane Boerstler. Hello, Diane.
Hi, how's it going?
Everything is cool, and I'm really excited to invite you back to the show and back to the audience. Actually, before we maybe ask who you are and what we will be hearing today, I would like to ask those people who joined us tonight or today if they can hear and see us properly. Whenever we'll get a positive reply, we will start the conversation. Diane, where are you now?
Right now, I am on beautiful Orcas Island in Washington State, United States of America.
And it is almost middle of the day for you, I guess?
Yeah, it is. It's 12:02. So yeah, it's exactly noon. It's about lunchtime.
Okay, for me it's 9 p.m. in Germany. So, James, everything is good. Yeah, it seems people can see us properly and hear us properly. So,
Okay.
Diane, can you shortly introduce yourself and briefly tell us what we will be learning?
So my name, of course, is Diane Boerstler. A lot of my clients know me as the Hypnotic Amazon copywriter. And that's because I leverage the power of some really neat deep brain psychology to craft Amazon listings that make anywhere from like 10 to 30 to 50 to 100,000 plus per month, which I love doing. And so today, what I'm actually going to be going over is some of my easier to learn techniques, some of my more profitable techniques as well. And so basically, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the CIA covert language patterns that you can use to increase your conversions by 30% or better. And we've seen this go anywhere, from 30% up to like 75%, which is awesome. And then we're also going to go over the 3 hypnotic Amazon secrets to a $100,000 per month listing. But we're going to do a really quick overview of that because I know we're short on time.
That sounds very interesting. And what is your favorite part in your Amazon copywriting business? Is it writing the listings or consulting people?
It's consulting people. I do love to write the listings, don't get me wrong, but it's amazing to me that we have well over 1,000 clients. And so when they come to us, they think they're just going to get a listing. But then if they have a question of anything about Amazon, we can answer any of their questions, whether it's about Amazon compliance or how to do keyword research or how to drive traffic, or so we're really open to it. We're more about getting the revenue and the profit generated than we are just about the listings themselves, because the listing is only one like component of it. It's a very critical component. Without a high converting listing, you won't see nearly as many sales, but we can help with other things too. And that's just kind of pro bono, when you work with our agency. It's not like we don't have like a consulting package or anything like that. It's just, we just like to help. So
yeah, very exciting. And I'm happy that you are gonna share some of your work secrets, I guess, with everyone. So let's just jump into the slides, if it's okay for you.
Yep, let me see here real quick if I can get these.
And yeah, if anyone watching now and have any questions during the presentation, just feel free to write it in the chat and we will answer them afterwards.
Yep, I'm all about Q&A. I also included my email address, so if for some reason you think of a question later when you're reviewing the slides, feel free to shoot me an email. That's absolutely fine. Okay, clicking on screen share. Here we go, and we should be live in just a minute. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it perfectly.
I'm gonna move this crazy little box here. Okay, so what we're gonna go over are the 30% conversion jumpers, basically. Basically some CIA interrogation tactics, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I know these and how I know these. And the reason that we leverage these is not just to get better conversions, but it's really to build rapport with your audience and kind of pre-program them to both like your product and also to buy from you. So you're going to hear some interesting terms in here. So you're going to hear terms like hypnotic language patterns, embedded commands, conversational wizardry. All it is essentially is these are words that have been placed together in a strategic fashion that are shown to drop the subconscious mind barrier and help Amazon sellers gain compliance, which means get people to click the buy now button more frequently. We're also going to go over the 3 hypnotic secrets to a $100,000 listing. So let me see if I can get this. Oh, there we go. Okay. We're good. Okay, so as you already know, I'm Diane Boerstler. I have a master's in neurolinguistic programming. I've also worked with the National Science Foundation, so I have a really deep dive into research. So, I'm also a mom to four. I'm the PTSA president. I'm an upcoming elected official, which is, super fun. And basically, I write Amazon listings and consult with people to help them generate $30,000 and $15,000 and $100,000 per month per listing. That's not per year, that's per month per listing. At last count, which was, I think, a couple months ago, we had calculated that we generated more than 220 million in sales for clients. And that's just in the last few years alone, and that's just what we can track. So just before we get started, I do want to let you know this is going to be what I like to call a no brag, all content tactical session. So there's not going to be any fluff. I'm not going to put up a bunch of results. You can go see results and testimonials, galore on my website, which is amazonsalesguru.com. Also, there's a free gift if you stay until the end. And the point of this gift is to kind of make it copy and paste simple for you to implement these secrets. So I'm hoping that will help. So the 3 secrets that we're going to look at for the 3 hypnotic secrets to a $100,000 listing is actually really important if you sell on Amazon. It's how to make a claim without getting banned on Amazon and without getting slapped by a government regulatory agency. For example, in the US, that would be the FDA, right? And this is really great for medical and weight loss products. How to instantly justify why your customer should buy from you and only from you. And that's by creating a hypnotic feature anchor. And I'll show you how to do that. And then I'm going to help you understand why you should stop focusing on just features and benefits and how to use transformational language. And, that helps them understand that your product is their best hope, right? Even if it's something simple like weed whacker string. And then also after that, we're going to go over a deeper dive into this one. We're going to use the 3 CIA interrogation tactics that can boost your listing revenue up to 30% or better. And it's a really great way to out-convert your competition. And really, these are very simple once you follow along and you understand this. So there's the $10 bar bet, and that basically turns tight-lipped terrorists into loose tongue talkers. I love that. That way they open up and they spill their state secrets. And these are actually used by covert services, just so you all know, I'm not making this up. There's the blind sheep power phrase. And that's basically how these clandestine services, use things like they think you'll fall for their lies, as in, they think the people you're already connected to will fall for your lies in order to kill their hope and gain their trust and basically reprogram felons to turn against their people and go enemy of the state. There's also the nootropics trust pattern, and that's how to create controlled overwhelm in a way that makes your customers compel, convince, and convert themselves. And again, we don't sell, we help people convert themselves into buying, because people hate to be sold to, but they love to buy. And that way they believe what you say about how your product will change their lives. And of course, when they do that, they're more likely to buy. A couple things right off the bat. I've included my email address in multiple places throughout here. I'm very serious when I say, if you have questions, please feel free to email me. Everything that I'm showing you today is not just based off of my knowledge in deep psychology. It's based off of analyzing more than 10,000 listings across every Amazon category, even the very basic ones that have just used features. And it's been proven many times over. And then I did make this PowerPoint very detailed. The point of that is so you can use it as a tactical resource. And as you use it as a tactical resource, you can get, I think, Augustus, are you gonna send out the link to where they can download the PowerPoint?
Yes, so when I will be informing people, they will get the slides. Okay,
good. Yeah, after this, we'll send out the link to that. And there's also a link to the free gift. I believe we're gonna send that out as well. So, quick income disclaimer, because my lawyer makes me do it every time. We offer a 10x revenue guarantee on all of our listings that we optimized. So basically that means that we say you'll make 10 times back what you pay us, or we re-optimize it until you do. And our success rate is about 98%, which is great. But of course, that does not apply to giving you free tactics. So use these at your own risk, have fun with them. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email. One of the biggest questions I get right off the bat is, does hypnosis really work? Okay, does conversational hypnosis really work? Does NLP really work? Are these language patterns really worth my time? Well, I want to say it was a couple months ago. but there was an attorney, Michael Fine, who lives in, I believe, Ohio. Yeah, he lives in Ohio. And he was just sentenced to 12 years in prison because he used hypnosis to put 6 of his female clients in a trance so he could sleep with them. So it does bear repeating that, you know, 1, this is very powerful and you should use it. And 2, please use it ethically. Please use it with caution. You know, don't use it to try to manipulate someone into doing something that's not good for them. Okay, how do I know what I know? This is always a tricky one. So the most I can say is that beyond studying hypnosis and NLP and, you know, analyzing presidential speeches and persuasion, you know, speeches since the age of 8, and I started writing sales copy when I was 14, which is, and now it's 23 years ago, I think. It might be 23 years ago. I come from a family with several people in the CIA and Pentagon and Secret Service and covert ops, and in interrogation negotiation, and I have been trained in interrogation negotiation. So that's a lot of where I know these from. These aren't phrases that you'll find online. This isn't in any other training that I'm aware of. So it's definitely worth your time to pay attention if you can right now. If not, I think, Augustus, you're going to have a replay, right? Is there going to be a replay on this?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So there will be a replay as well. So a couple things, you know, actually probably the most important thing, I call this the 60-second basic. And this is something that I kind of, you know, like pound into the heads of everybody that I train to do what I do. And that is that, you know, you need to give your listings a ton of love and attention. If you can stop thinking of them as words that you put on a page that convert into buyers, and you start thinking of them as a 24/7 salesperson who works their tail off for you, you're going to go a lot farther. You know, most entrepreneurs are going to tell you it's a really bad idea to invest hundreds of hours sourcing a product and then negotiating and then creating a brand and jumping through all of Amazon's crazy hoops and then only invest a few hours on your listing. Who's your sales guy? You know, your listing is your top sales guy. So there's an analogy I like to use with this, and that's, you know, ignoring your listing or neglecting your listing is really like sticking your product out on the sidewalk and hoping someone stops and picks it up and then leaves you money. You know, you're hoping everybody's honest, ethical, and they have the time to do that. And that's never going to happen, right? I mean, it's, you know, that's pretty obvious. So, you know, just if you can give your listing a lot of love and you can think of it as a full sales page, like you would see a full sales page, as though it has a title and bullet points and the description is kind of the story, you're going to get a lot more play in the Amazon world. Okay, so let's launch into 3 hypnotic secrets. Okay, so secret number 1, and again, I'm going to go over these pretty quickly because I think that if you're this is basically a review, because if you're a summit member from April, you have this full in-depth training already. So I just want to give a good overview of this. So you're going to use this claim, no claim language pattern to overcome skepticism. And you need to overcome skepticism so you can shift your potential customer's belief and you can kind of elicit or evoke this excitement and the other must-buy emotions and actual hormones and endorphins that flood through the body when someone is getting ready to buy. But the problem is, if you sell a product where you're not allowed to make a claim, for example, you know, a health claim like this cures cancer, or, you know, a diet weight loss claim like this is guaranteed to help you lose 30 pounds in 30 days. If you can't do that without getting in trouble, then, you know, you need to kind of watch your step. There is, you know, you can't say this is the best supplement because it's going to save your life. Okay, we all know that. At least I'm assuming. I apologize. I'm assuming that anybody who sells in health and weight loss products on Amazon knows this, even in business and money making products. So what you can say, and I actually created a shortened version for you, is we won't claim that, you know, our product name cures cancer, but we will tell you that customers say it effectively reduces nausea. The customer said it helped me effectively reduce nausea and regenerate my hair in, you know, under 10 days. So we can say that. So that's a really, I mean, if you even just look at this, if you just use this claim, no claim, to be able to make a claim, you've already saved yourself a lot of grief and a lot of hassle with both Amazon and the government regulatory agencies. Do you want me to hold for questions at the end for that, Augustus, or do we want to check in with people?
Yes, I think we will be taking questions at the end.
Okay, thought I would double check. So the second secret, and the one that we're known worldwide for is actually setting a hypnotic feature anchor. If you look at major brands and the way they sell their products, they always give these really fun names to the process in combination with the feature that for their product. So for example, you know, Hoover has like a special suction technology, right? And you know, if you're looking at like these, you know, if you go and you get a paint, like a spray paint, you know, thing from Home Depot, like a thing that you can spray paint your walls. What is that called, Phil? The painting. I can't think what it's called. So you get one of those that has a special feature, and they coin these terms, or they coin these special names for this technology, and it positions them as not only an expert, you know, in solving a problem, but it positions them as having something that other products don't have. And Amazon is, as we all know, it's really highly competitive. So we really need to use this, especially in the more competitive, for the more competitive products, and the products that are kind of Me Too products, right? And we need to use this to set an anchor in our customers' minds. So when they go and they keep comparison shopping, because the upper middle class and the upper class does comparison shop, a lot of the middle class does as well. When they go comparison shopping, they keep returning to the same word, the same technology word that you've coined, okay? And the way to do that very simply, and I'm just going to skip this, you can go back to that later if you want. The way to do that really simply is that, you know, you take, let me see if I can put this as simply as possible. You take something that they want in the product, and you take something else they want in the product. For example, if you have headphones, they want comfort, and they want a headphone that fits within their ear and stays put while they're exercising, and isn't, you know, kind of blocks out noise from the outside, so they don't upset their neighbor, or not their neighbor, the person they're, you know, running on the treadmill next to. So you would take comfort and the fact that it molds to the ear and create comfort mold technology, right? And that's a really simple one. We do a lot more complex ones. Or you can say revolutionary comfort fit technology. And then when they look at other listings, they're not going to see that, and that's an anchor. And that works is because one of the reasons that works is because our brain finds it far easier to remember, you know, two things, to combine 10 or 7 to 10 words into 2 words or 3 words. It basically, it's kind of like when you organize your papers and your files into a box, right? It maintains an organization system, so it's easier for the brain to recall and process that information, okay? So make sure you make that spicy, really awesome, and stand out, you know, like it stands out, or make it about, you know, what they want most, what the transformation they want most is. And that brings us to transformational language, which is the whole basis of why you would use conversational hypnosis and NLP in your listing, and these power phrases in your listing. When you use transformational, okay, so let me back up just a little bit. So you have, most people on Amazon make the mistake of focusing on just features and, you know, just benefits, which is great. But the reason that we buy is because we're future paced, which means we're shown a vision of the future of this product having already solved our problem, right? A benefit doesn't do that, and a feature certainly doesn't do that. It's always important to remember that we buy on emotion, and that emotion is generated by our subconscious mind, and we justify with logic. So benefits are half emotion, half logic. Features are all logic, okay? And then you have transformation, which is really 100%, you know, emotional and not logical, okay? So what you would want to do for this is, and that's pretty much what I just said, sorry. So, you know, you want to think about why that tiny, I like to say tiny, lonely, scared, hopeless child in their subconscious mind, who is riddled with skepticism and filled with doubt that anything is going to solve their problem, even if it's a t-shirt that makes them feel sexy, right? That's still a problem they have. They want to feel sexy. You know, you have to go and look at that and say, what outcomes do they want? And how does your product, by justifying it, you know, say, how does your product provide those outcomes? And there's a couple different ways you can do this. So you can look at their identity, and you can trigger prestige. So you can say, you know, I know from reading about them online, and I'm assuming you've already narrowed in on your ideal customer persona. If you haven't, we really need to talk, because you should only be speaking to one person. You know that, so basically, you know that they want to be seen in this sexy car or in this huge truck. They want to be known as a big tough guy or a super cool chick or the smart chick. They want people to see them as something specific. So for example, see them as the authority in their field, so that everybody just believes what they say, right? So how can you take that feature and turn it into something that, let's say it's a, like a emblem for the front of your truck, and turns it into something that makes your customer feel like a big tough man, right? Or even something else in a super cool chick. We feed the ego. Okay, so we're going to want to feed the ego, and we're going to want to alleviate the imagined fear of actually using that product. Okay, so just remember, stroke their biggest ego, solve their greatest fear, right? And the way that, sorry, skip to the next slide. The way that we do that is actually to go through and paint a extremely powerful, almost a visual image using visual, auditory, kinesthetic triggers through NLP. And if you want to know what those are, I can tell you more about that later. And we paint this vivid picture of both what they using the product and what it's already accomplished for their life. We paint that picture for them, and we also paint the picture of regret on the other side for how their life will continue and how they continue to experience that problem, within the copy as well. So you have to paint the image of regret and then paint this image, this transformational image of what their future is going to look like after they buy your product. And this, like I said, it works for things as simple as weed whacker string and t-shirts, and we can do this with anything. And people have challenged this and said, well, I sell plenty on some features and benefits. And we had someone come in and we did some split testing last month, and we had they increased their profit by $18,000 a month on an already optimized listing. So this works. It's very important that that you should at least give it a shot. So are we still doing okay? Can you still hear me okay?
Yes, of course, no problem.
Okay. Figured I'd check in. Because I can't see the screen when I'm I can't see the chat or anything when I have this full screen. So now I'm going to go into the real reason I'm guessing why everybody is here today, and this is to cover the CIA interrogation secrets, and the ones especially that my favorites to boost conversions. I guess you can call them my favorite tactics. Okay, so there's the $10 bar bet that turns tight-lipped terrorists into loose-tongued talkers. And the whole point of that is, and you'll see how you use this in your Amazon listing in just a minute. I'm not just going to tell you what this is and then not show you how to use it. We're going to go into how to use it too. There's that blind sheep power phrase, and then there is the nootropics trust pattern. So creating controlled overwhelm, right? So you can compel and convince and convert, have them compel, convince, and convert themselves. Sorry, you don't want to try to convince them of anything. You just want to let them talk themselves into it, which is a lot more fun than selling, because selling can feel slimy. So anyhow. And like I said, you'll get lots of examples, and this is going to help you move past your competitors in conversion, which is really what you want. So when I first heard about this, I was really confused. This $10 bar bet, and it took me a couple of tries to kind of understand the power of it. And so what they use for in covert services is they'll use to ask leading questions. And they use it with terrorists to get them to think about what might happen to them if they don't comply. And then they also ask leading questions, then provided a false answer. So they have to respond with what really happened in that scenario, right? So, and I'll give you an example of this. We're not going to use this to talk anybody out of their state secrets, but here's how you do this. You're going to ask a leading question and get them to provide the buy me answer in their brain, right? So people have to ask question. Your brain has to answer questions, at least in your own mind, even if you won't do it out loud, even if you know the answer, or even if you don't know the answer, you don't know that your answer is 100% correct. And even if you don't want to answer that question, your brain will answer that question. So our pattern here is that we're going to ask leading questions, right? We're going to use an ellipse, which is the ... as you can see right there, to open the subconscious mind. And we're going to prime it to accept the answer that we provide. Okay, the answer you want them to believe before they can answer on their own. So here's a really easy language pattern to remember. Okay, wouldn't you love to, and again, this is going to paint a picture of that transformation, right? So wouldn't you love to, release the weight, feel great, and be able to chase after your kids again? Then you'll love how product name leverages the power of, and here's the hypnotic feature anchor. This is why I had to teach you this today, to quickly, easily, and naturally help you help you get the measurable benefit, right? So wouldn't you love to look in the mirror and see your fat pants falling off, get more naughty looks, and experience the energy of a 15-year-old. And notice how we use the ellipse there at the end, right? That opens up a nested loop pattern in their brain that basically creates a void that they need to fill. Their brain literally has to fill it. It's an itch. It's like an itch that you have to scratch, right? It's going to drive you crazy until you know. Then you'll love how, fake diet product name leverages the power of slim, quick fat burning technology. Again, just made that up. To quickly, easily, and naturally help you slim down by up to 10 pounds. Or you can say shave 3 inches off your midsection in 10 days. Or you can say, you can do any of these as long as you have proof of these claims, right? And then you can add, if this is in the description, you can make it even longer. You can say, just take it, follow your normal diet and exercise regimen, and watch the weight fall off. Okay, and as you could tell, the slim, quick fat burning technology is our hypnotic feature anchor. You're going to see these everywhere. And I know you said we'll hold questions till the end, so write down any questions you have about that, and we'll tackle them at the end. The blind sheep power phrase. So this is a way to disconnect somebody from already being in love with another brand and move them over to your brand, right? So we call this going enemy of the state. And they used to do this. So they would break the anchor of trust with let's say that the criminal was from, I don't know, I'm going to try not to offend anybody, Washington State, okay? let's say Washington State was a country, and they want to break the anchor of trust with that criminal from Washington State. They would repeat over and over again about how they've been lied to by Washington State government and by their, covert ops team, or by the other terrorists. They would show proof that the people in the country the criminal was loyal to wouldn't do what they promised. And then they'd show instant proof that they could get the criminal anything they wanted, right? So you're showing you're in a position of power. That really often meant just taking them outside of their environment and showing them, hey, we'll get you what you want. Here's your freedom again. Now, we can use this really simply to reprogram your customers' beliefs about your product or your product type, and wipe clean the slate of your competitors' claims. So we can say the competitors' claims aren't true, but our claims are true. And we'd want to do that, especially if we have a competitor who has a product that has technology that we don't, right? So we call that a one-up situation. Or if your competitor comes in and you've been like the top dog, or you've been gaining great momentum and you're heading to the top, you're looking at being the best seller if you keep going, which is an amazing feeling. But then someone else comes along and hits the market with something that's a lot more advanced or durable or easier to use, or they can afford to spend $100,000 in marketing, and you can afford to spend like $1,000 a month, or even $100 a month, right? This also works, like I said, with big brands if you want to one-up big brands. So here is the language pattern you can use. So while you wouldn't say, you can say the other guys, you never, ever, ever want to mention a specific competitor's name. It opens you up to libel lawsuits, at least in the United States. I know in other countries they have more severe penalties for that. But while the other guys claim, you can insert the keyword. So while the other guys claim their foam roller, is whatever claim they're making. So is the most durable on the planet. You'll want to fact check that, because to date, and I'll tell you why that's important in a minute, your product name is the only one that delivers those results. Plus, and then you would put like 1 or 2 or, plus like the hypnotic feature anchor, or you do an extra benefit. The reason for to date, I don't know if, I'm sure you can see to date right there, right? So the reason for to date is because if for some reason somebody else comes along and makes a similar claim, or if it turns out that your claim is incorrect and someone else, that competitor does offer that, or another competitor comes on the market and offers something better than yours, this protects you legally. Okay, and I'm not technically allowed to give legal advice, but using to date is a really good thing to, anytime you're making a claim that offsets your product against your competitors, so that you don't have to, so you don't have to worry about somebody coming after you, right? So that's gonna, protect your rear end, basically. Okay, so, and this is a longer one, so you would want to, you should never have your bullet points, at least for the most part, over 360 characters. I found the highest converting is 250 to 360. We have some products that we go longer on, but they're in very specific categories, and we do that for a very specific reason, which I won't dive too deeply into here. But here, if you want to kind of get an example, while the other guys claim their eco regs allow you to sanitize your home using only water, you want to fact check that, because to date, Eco Power sponges are the only natural cleaning solution that delivers those results, plus saves you a ton of money. And then you can say because, which is always powerful, because you're going to wash them and use them 10,000 times. Okay, so a second here. We are down to the last one, the nootropics brain trust stacker pattern. Augustus, do you know what nootropics are?
Not really. It's something about the brain, but yeah.
Yeah, they're like a nootropic stacker is basically a combination of different. It should be 100% natural and organic, vitamins and minerals and things like that that help you to your brain to function at full performance. And I'm a huge brain performance geek, and so I have tested a lot of nootropics out. So I really, really like these. So that's why I call this the nootropics brain trust stacker pattern. You could just call it the nootropics pattern or the nootropics trust pattern if you want. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to create what we call controlled overwhelm. And we're going to do that because it makes your customer believe something you're going to say about your product. And I'll show you why in just a minute. So what you want to do, what they used to, I don't even know if anybody cares what they used to use it for, but I'm fascinated by it, so I'm going to talk about it. So what they used to use this for was to stack the bad things that would happen to their loved ones if these terrorists or criminals would comply and give up their secrets. They also used it to stack lies and false promises, like we talked about that before a little bit. So let's say Washington State was a country and they wanted them to go enemy of the state. They would use that, and they did it in sets of 3, and that's really, really, really going to become important here. We call it the power 3 or the set of 3. And then they would say the bad that happened to their family. Then they would talk about how they had been lied to and all these promises were false from their native country. And then they would stack, the clandestine services would say what they could get them. And they did this in sets of 3. Why is it important to do it in sets of 3? Because when you write out anything in a set of 3, the human brain after 2 it feels what's called controlled overwhelm. And so it's automatically open to accept the third portion of the sentence. Okay, so let's see here. I'm just gonna, that last one we can just skip over. You can go back and read it, but it's what I basically already said. So if you want to prove to your customers that your product is the go-to most beneficial solution, you need to stack this. Stack your benefits, stack your features, or stack your transformation into 3s at least once or twice during your bullet points, right? And this is critical in bullet points. If you can squeeze it into your title, if you're mobile optimized at 120, or depending on which country it is, you have different. Obviously you have different lengths. In the UK, I've seen some insanely long titles. Anyhow, that was like side rabbit trail. If you can create controlled overwhelm by showing transformation or listing benefits in your title in a group of 3 in a row, make sure that your third one is always the one that is the biggest claim and the one that is the least likely to be believed. So the reason this works to create controlled chaos and make them believe is that there are thousands of studies out there on how people buy when they're shopping, right? And they've actually taped these electrodes to their head. I don't know if you're into this, but I'm like fascinated by how the human brain works. So they tape these electrodes to their head, right? And this is proven that 80% of shoppers on average are in what's called a reptilian state, right? So that means we're kind of back in our caveman mode. We're thinking about, the very basics of life. When your brain is in that state, it can only handle analyzing and trying to end with skepticism against 2 facts at a time. So when you state that third fact, the brain is so overwhelmed that it will almost always, again, 80% of the time, accept that fact as a capital T truth. Okay, this is, if you can add one thing to your sales copy, if you can remember one thing today, besides the hypnotic feature anchor, this is huge. If they already believe these first 2 claims you're making about the product, so you want to make sure they're believable because it's common knowledge, then that third one they will automatically believe. So make sure, like I always say, it's your most outrageous, right? Make sure it's the one that you really need them to believe, but it's the one that's the least common knowledge, the least believable. Okay, so you can stack 3 in a row, not just in the positive, but you can stack it in the negative, right? So you can say, and you would never actually want to say this, but I'm just going to give this as an example. Are you feeling sick, tired, and ugly, right? maybe they're not feeling ugly, you know, then you can go and do 3 benefits or three pictures of how it transforms their life. I tend to like to use it more in the positive. You know, while we do have to paint that picture of regret, I like to focus more on showing them how their life is going to change for the better and not make them feel bad. I don't think it's nice to make people feel bad. Maybe that's just my mom who raised me that way, but I don't think it's a nice thing to do. So, you know, you could just use it as, wouldn't you love to? And then there's number 1, look in the mirror and see your fat pants falling off. 2, get more naughty looks. And 3, experience the energy of a 15-year-old again. Now, this is only if someone is actually thinking. These transformations, let me be very clear, are not just made up. This right here was for a specific problem, right? So what we did was we went and did a lot of research on the customer, and we actually used things that they said they really wanted to do. People want to look in the mirror and they want to see their clothes loose, and they refer to them as fat pants all over the place. At least in the US. They want to get more naughty looks from their significant other. We know that. They want to experience, and someone had specifically said for this product, it was to give you the energy of a 15-year-old, or to give you back your energy you had when you were a teenager. You might not use these 3 specific things, right? It's going to depend on your customer, and it's going to depend on the transformation they want. That one specific customer or friend persona, as we call it, who, you know, the person they want to speak to. Okay. So here is another language pattern that you can use. So if you read the reviews, it's easy to see why customers say, right? So you'd obviously put a long tail keyword in there, or your product type, okay? Because you have to SEO infuse it as well. You have to search engine optimize it, I guess, is probably the simpler way of saying that. You have to search engine optimize it, and then you want to say the first way it changes their lives, second way it transforms their lives, third way it transforms their life. This is really beneficial if you have great reviews you can pull from, right? And just as kind of a fun fact, an NLP fact is, when you say something like read the reviews or customers say, they don't feel like they're believing you anymore. They feel like they're speaking to your former customer. So that creates a trust anchor for your product, right? It says, I'm not the only one saying this. It's right there in black and white. Feel free to go look it up. You know, this is 100% transparent. I'm being transparent, and this really does work. And you don't want to say this, by the way, sorry, just to clarify, you don't want to say this. You do want to say read the reviews or customers say, right? Which I have right there. So you would say, you know, customers say, insert, you could use this to insert hot testimonial highlight, insert hot testimonial highlight, which is just like a blurb, your best testimonial, and then do it a 3rd time. And make sure the 3rd one is the one that's like, customers say, I lost 500 pounds on this diet pill, right? Let's see here. So I have an interesting example at the top, because right after doing this, teaching this a couple months ago, someone came to me with a chew away spray. Like, they literally use this. So you cannot use chew away spray because someone else used it. But at the time, this was not an actual product. So when you read the reviews, you'll easily see, this is the language pattern, why customers say the chew away spray 2000 magnetizes puppies away from your favorite shoes. 1, helps them alleviate teething pain. 2, and keeps your furniture safe from naughty little bite marks. That's 3, right? So we've used that. We've done 1, 2, 3, and we've included a trust anchor, right? So very, very important and helpful. So that's the biggest thing. But I think, you know, the way that someone's going to take this training is going to, and implement it, is going to matter a lot about, you know, based on what they actually came for today. Like, why are they here today? What matters most to them? Basically, why did you show up and invest the time to actually watch this and learn this and take notes? This was really created for people who are in a highly competitive market, right? Because you need a better edge. Okay. This is created for anybody who has written their own Amazon listing. Okay. And we know that sometimes that can go well, but a lot of times it generates slow sales, and that's not good. You know, you don't end up seeing the sales and conversions you want. And I'm not saying some people can't do it on their own, but most people just prefer not to, you know, not to have to go it alone without any guidance or advice. And this is also this was really created a lot for the new Amazon sellers who don't want to actually face that uphill battle that everybody else is facing. And they know that they've already invested that money out there in their product, and they want to get results fast, right? So there really are, you know, the obvious question, I guess, that I always think is, how can you apply this? It's a really powerful system. You know, these are really powerful language patterns, but how can you use this to what you've learned today and anything else that you've learned before to create a high converting Amazon listing, right? So you basically have three choices. Okay, so these are the three options that I like to offer. You can go with the slower sales and you can do it yourself, which a lot of people call trial and error or wish and pray, right? And I actually created you a free gift to help you with that. And Augustus has the link for that where you can download that. And then there's the second option, obviously. You can save 20%, which is what a lot of people really like. And you can see more profits fast. And that's by hiring me to write your optimized hypnotic Amazon listing with plenty of time to capture the upcoming sales rush. And I have the link there for details if you have more questions about that. And that, of course, includes the full listing, the title, bullet points, description, or EBC, if you have EBC, and then EBC image guidance and competitive buyer keyword research, right? We're going to get your buyers actually, the keywords that your competitors' buyers actually use to make the purchase. So you're not just kind of guessing and checking with the system and saying, oh, well, I know these are the highest volume, or these are the lowest competition. We know which words people use to buy. We have an analysis software that we run with, and I think it's got like a 96% accuracy, 95% accuracy. I'm looking at my business partner right now, sitting right here. And that, of course, is a great option if you want to have it be hands-off, right? And that's backed by my 10 times what you pay revenue guarantee, and it's backed by unlimited edits for 365 days. There's also option 3, which is something we just launched this year, and it's been, I gotta say, it's the most amazing thing that we have ever offered. And we decided, because there are millions of Amazon sellers, that there is no way for us to continually keep up, even with training other people to do what we do within our own agency. There's no way for us to keep up on the volume and the demand all the time when it's the busy time of year. So we created this training called Crack the Code Hypnotic Amazon Listing Training, right? And this is, it teaches you how to craft hypnotic Amazon listings and basically create your own Amazon empire the easy way, which is really nice. And you don't have to be a genius to do it. You don't have to have previous experience. You don't have to be good at English even. You don't need to speak English well. It's actually that simplified. So it's a really fast and easy and step-by-step system that you basically just follow along with, right? And this is something that we've put a lot of support into for people who are DIYers or do-it-yourselfers. And they have the ambition to launch an entire stable of high-performing courses on Amazon or high-performing listings and products on Amazon. And also, we've had a lot of top sellers who have purchased this, who just wanted to train their internal team to craft that high-converting copy, right? So, but the challenge with this one is obviously space is very limited, because we do provide, it's over-the-shoulder video training, but it's also fully supported. So that means there's, you can ask questions via email. If we need to, we do Q&A calls sometimes. I usually try to do at least one Q&A call. It's all pre-recorded, and we've just completely freshened this up basically. And so it's going to be ready again in the next 5 days, but it always fills up ahead of time. And like I said, it would only take a small group of people. Otherwise, we just can't keep up. So this is, I highly recommend this one to anybody who plans on selling more than a few products on Amazon. I think it's probably obvious why. It's not just going to save you time and hassle. It's going to save you a boatload of money paying somebody to write your listing, right? And the great thing about this program that I'm really excited about is we don't just write a listing from scratch, right? So I'm sure you've seen a lot of trainings that say, oh, well, here's how you write a bullet point. Here's how you write they start from where they're at in their brain. Here's how you write a bullet point. Here's how you write 5 bullet points. Here's how you write the title. And here's some general ideas for the description. We actually develop this into a class to achieve mastery, to go from know nothing to mastery. So it creates, it teaches you every aspect of creating a hugely profitable Amazon listing from the mindset of a 7-figure a year Amazon seller and 7-figure Amazon sales copywriter, right? So we're going to hone in on the exact persona you must speak to for maximum conversion. So when you're writing your listing, you're not just writing about the features and benefits, you're literally talking to somebody. And we're going to teach you how to do that if you're interested in doing that. We have the secret persuasion tips of the world's most accomplished sales copywriters in there. This is the things they use to get insane results. We teach people, of course, how to write the SEO infused title and the bullet points and the product description, and even how to use that for EBC. And of course, like I said, there's full email support, and there's full email support not just for until you get through the videos. There's full email support for a full year, which is really nice, because sometimes you'll launch a product and you do really well with that first listing, But then you come back to your third or fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh listing, you're selling products and you say, man, listings 1 through 6 were awesome. 7, I'm really struggling with. Can you help me with this? And then we can help with that. And, the great thing, the reason that I'm even talking about this today is because we're doing a relaunch after refreshing the content. So the last class that did this, they paid $1,997 for this, right? They loved it. We have tons of reviews about it. We have proof all over that it worked. But the biggest thing is with Augustus, I know that you tend to work with a lot of newer sellers, right?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay, so because this is the really comprehensive part of the program, we wanted to actually we lowered the price from $1,997 by 80% just for this specific group. And the reason that we did that is because we wanted to have the cost of having our team write a listing, a Hypnotic Amazon listing, or the investment of doing it and learning it, alongside us so that you can do it over and over by yourself. We wanted to take away any price issues with that. So we made them the same price, right? Which is actually incredible. I don't know of anybody else who sells their training for the same as what, they make millions of dollars a year to do, which is really nice. So I'm guessing that we're going to have some really great new sellers on here in this program, as well as some advanced ones who just are tired of, guessing and they want to really learn how to crack that code, right? So if you really want to accelerate your profits, or you have a team, this is probably the one to go with today. But just, I'll just do a summary real quick before we do Q&A. So, sorry, I should probably tell you what's in it, right? Do you want to know what's in it?
Yes, it would be interesting.
I should probably tell you. So it goes over not just we're going to go over how to do competitive buyer keyword analysis, right? We're going to go over the mindset of a 7-figure Amazon copywriter and seller. I'm going to help you create your perfect buyer persona because that's really important. You can't speak to everybody, right? Otherwise you won't make sales. I mean, people in sales know you can't just speak to everybody who won't make sales. I don't know, maybe that's not common knowledge anymore, but that's a pretty important thing to know. We're going to go over those secret persuasion tips of these world's most successful copywriters. And of course, we're also going to learn the framework and the basics. And there's a ton of copy and paste templates back there, and there's a ton of checklists. And it's not just for the basic Amazon listing. These are all language patterns, and we've already pre-written them. So all anybody really, and we usually sell these for like $700 just alone, and which is great. I don't mind making the extra money, but I'm really kind of in training mode right now. So with these templates, all you're going to have to do is take the hot buttons that we researched together for your buyer persona and plug them into the templates, and you'll be able to put up a listing that converts very, very well. Right. Of course, we're going to go over some NLP and some hypnosis tactics, and do that competitive buyer research together. So these are the options. I wanted to make sure everybody had something regardless of whether or not they can afford to buy something today. And I'm totally down with that. I remember when we were first selling on Amazon and just things felt kind of tight. So, so we have the free gift, and you can find that. Here's the link right here. It's the $100,000 Hypnotic Amazon listing template. There is the hands-free happiness and profit, which option 2, which is the one that most people choose. And it's for people who really just want our team to craft them a high converting Hypnotic Amazon product listing. And right now with this link, it's 20% off. Now I will give a heads up. I won't mention what's coming up in the next couple of weeks, but I'm sure the people listening right now know that it's like, the day on Amazon, right? It's like the day of the year on Amazon besides Prime Day. So right now, for the next 20 people, we can guarantee delivery within 14 to 21 days. Okay, after that, it's kind of first come, first serve. And then, of course, there's option number 3. There's the one that I absolutely love. It's the profitable Amazon Empire training. So it's the crack the code Amazon listing training, right? And right now we're doing 80% off of that. That's a very limited time pre-launch special. We are launching right now, we're doing a relaunch in 5 days. And so we're actually everything's already put together. We're just getting the membership site up with the new videos and the completely revised templates and all the additional goodies that we have back there. So that's pretty much it. I guess, maybe Augustus, if you want to open up Q&A, if you're down with that, or if you have any questions. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, sorry.
That's
Sorry.
okay. I'm just making sure you can hear me. I was like, oh no, I'm checking my internet. I have a 96
I clicked
megabit per second upload speed.
I clicked the wrong button. I did reloaded the page instead of unmuting myself. So
Okay.
yes, I think I have heard a lot of interesting information. For example, writing protective sentences against the lawsuits, like "to date" phrase, and what else did I marked? Also stacking 3 points and making that sure that the last point is the most important. It's so much playing with the human's brain. Is it the idea behind the NLP?
Yeah, behind NLP and conversational hypnosis, that is the idea. And it was originally, so there's this, I'll go into this as quickly as possible. There are two different kinds of sales copywriters. There are manipulative ones, and then there are those of us who think of ourselves as therapists, right? I was originally a therapist on some level. I was actually a program director, but I was also a therapist. And so with NLP and conversational hypnosis, what we're doing is using it to create transformation in the mind, right? And then we just combine it with other sales copy techniques so the person sees that product creates that transformation. So yeah, that's where this is kind of from deep psychology from the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. Some going clear back, I think, to what, like 1920s? Is that right? Something. Yeah, I'm looking at Philip. So yeah, I mean, it's basically from deep psychology. And I just as a caveat, I wouldn't believe everything you hear about NLP or conversational hypnosis. We have studied this, been certified in it. We can train people on it. We've been doing this, for a very long time. So if you go online and read something about it, be very careful with how you use it, because you could either A, look like a fool, which isn't the worst thing, or B, get yourself into a lot of trouble. So make sure that if you're getting training, you're getting it from somebody who's certified to train you in it.
By the way, could you switch off your screen sharing so that we see your face?
Sure.
And Lee was asking quite important question. He says that with Amazon constantly reducing the amount of characters that are indexed for bullet points, is there enough space to apply your tactics properly and effectively?
Yes, we have been doing that. So in the US specifically, and we do US, UK, any place where people read English, basically. We're allowed up to 500 characters right now in our bullet points. We don't use 500 characters most of the time because that makes them just really, really long. If you're going to do that, break it up with the check marks or break it up with one of the little HTML codes. We haven't had any problems with that as of yet. The other thing to think about is Amazon's traffic now I think, are we at 60-something% mobile in the US? Okay. And when you go and you search on your mobile phone on Amazon for a product, you don't see the bullet points first. You see the description. And so with the longer ones, you can use them in your description and it'll pop up higher on mobile, right? When you go to the page, let's say you type in like, pest repeller or whatever, and you click from your mobile phone on that link or on the title with the image, and you see the description. At least that's how it's been, going in the US right now. But if someone watched this video later, Amazon might have changed it. But yeah, you can definitely use these. They're very, and you should. And if you need a shortened version of it, let me know. But the ones that we could shorten, we already put it like a shorter version of it, as opposed to like there's a really long language pattern that we cut down significantly to make them work.
And I notice very often you're using capitalized letters. Is it probably it's allowed by Amazon, I assume, but is it kind of you put capitalization where you would like to put bold words?
Yes, exactly. You would do all caps, and we call those tonal markers, but in this case, they're written tonal markers. And in conversational hypnosis, they're used to, let's say you say you want to get your kid to sleep. You would say something like, it would be really great if you went to your bedroom to sleep, right? And that's a very simple one. And you can put those three together and it becomes a tonal marker. So we do that so to take the people who are more, they're kind of in a rush and they're in conscious processing mode as opposed to reptilian processing mode, to get them to see those tonal anchors or those tonal markers and to stop and kind of see the main things that they need to see in order to buy, right? So you don't want to use all caps on I've seen people do this. on your entire bullet point or on your entire, throughout your entire description. You just want to be, and with your description, if you're using HTML, you don't have to anyway, you can just do bold. But with your bullet points, you definitely want to use the all caps.
And Nuni is interested how the methods you are using are different from cash advertising book. I don't know if you are aware of such book, but she was mentioning it.
Yeah, cash advertising was years ago, actually, and some of the methods are similar to cash advertising. I mean, cash advertising has some really great methods used by top sales copywriters, which is awesome. This goes a lot deeper into more the conversational hypnosis and the NLP that we know works. So, and I've used cash advertising for my sales pages and then just added the NLP and hypnosis to it. So if you already have cash advertising and you actually read it and you implement it correctly and you know how to go through and do that, then you can definitely, get an okay converting listing. But if you want I'm more into like the top converting listings. I like to do the, 10, 50, and $100,000 a month listings, and the ones where people really want to see the high conversions because they're trying to grow an empire, not just kind of get some extra kickback money. I don't know if that makes sense. So.
And James is asking, are you helping people all by yourself, or you have a huge agency behind where many people do research, or you just do it alone?
That's such a good question. Okay, so as of it must have been March of this year, right? Was it March this year? Philip and I, who is my husband and who is also my business partner, have been doing this together for many, many, many years. I went on the summit with you, and then I went on a couple of other events, and all of a sudden we had way too much volume. So what I have been doing is actually training people that I know personally, that I've worked with in sales, or who I've personally worked with within my business, to kind of create the framework of the copy. And then we go through and we infuse it with conversational hypnosis, make sure it's high converting. We also do all the competitive research still ourselves and send that off to them. So they're writing the framework. And right now, I think to date, we have are we up to 5 people? I think 5, 6 people. We have 5 or 6 who are fully ready to go, and then we have 11 more who want to come on board. So we're not a huge agency. When you talk to us or when you email us, you still get me. I don't have a secretary. That would be lovely. I'm aiming for a maid first. I want a maid first, right? Or you speak, you'll also speak with Philip if it's a technical issue, because he's our tech guy. He's really, really good at that. So.
And also someone wants to know, do you give advice on photos and videos to include on the product listing? Let's say if it should be male,
Yes.
female, adult, child.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. And only if you ask those. So there's two different options. So if you're going, and they cost the same regardless. If you're going with a listing and you're a brand, a registered brand with Amazon, and you have enhanced brand content, I have to be able to tell you what you should put with the copy, because if I don't, then it's just going to goof everything up, right? If you just decide to, let's say you're selling a mirror and I'm talking about the 8 different amazing features and you put up a picture of a puppy, that's not going to go well, right? You're not going to get as high conversions. People will be confused. But if you're just doing regular HTML, you have to let me know that you want me to check over your images. So I can say, okay, you can say, hey, by the way, can you check my images for me and make sure that that they are as high converting as possible. Now, I don't include the copy for the images, for the site images. That's an additional service that we offer. But most people like to go through and pull out different pieces of the copy we write and just have a $5 designer on Fiverr put it on their image and then put it back up on Amazon. So it's not really even a service people request very often, but we do give advice on that if needed. Especially if it's going to kill the listing. If your images are horrible, I will definitely let you know. I apologize. In the nicest way possible, but I will let you know, because we don't want to do that. So. And
James says, if you are not yet offering this service, but it should be included in your package, the service which would teach the sellers to write emails to the customers which remove bad reviews or encourage positive reviews.
Oh, well, then I can do that. Let's add that as a bonus to anybody who signs up for the training. Was it James?
James, yes.
James, you're on. That's a bonus. I'll add it as a bonus. I can already do that. That's easy. We write those emails for people to get them out of a boatload of hot water. And we also write review getting emails, obviously. So you want to add that in as a bonus? Do it as a bonus? Yeah, we can do that as a bonus. If that's what people think they need, because you're right, that back end is really important too. If you get a bunch of sales and then you start losing your sales because of product issues, or in our case yesterday, Amazon just randomly decided to ship the person's product to the wrong place, which was awesome. You know, we've all been there. You know, you have to write a really nice email that gets them back in your regard so they leave an awesome review. Yeah, we can do that. Are you up for that? Okay, yeah, okay.
So we reach 1 hour mark, and maybe for the end, could you give an example? For example, I have a product which is a supplement for improving the memory, but I'm wondering, you know, this supplement could be targeted to the young generation and to the old people. So two different kind of supplements, but both are for improving memory. So how the hypnotic copywriting can be different?
We have actually done this. So what is the name of that brain supplement that they, Focus Factor? Focus Factor. We've actually done copy for them. So with that particular thing, if you actually have to target multiple different groups, you first of all, you have to mention it in the title, because you have to frame people that they're going to be funneling into 2 different areas, right? You want to capture both. And then you have to do at least 2 of your bullet points to 2 separate groups, right? So if you're talking about the transformation for someone who is older, and I don't like the term older, someone who is very wise and who maybe has more challenges sleeping at night, so they don't struggle, or so they struggle more with their thinking, you'll want to do a bullet point about that specifically, and say, you know, it's so hard for me to write copy speaking out loud, but you know, you might say, you wouldn't just start with like improves, you know, improves your elder aging brain. What did we use for that? Like we had to get it around FDA compliance. Do you remember that? That was like super fun. Phil's seeing if it's on his computer right now. So basically, you'd want to do a bullet, like your top bullet point is going to need to be, you know, kind of the general, like, this is why this is better than the other product, right? Or by like any other product out there. And then you want to talk about specifically targeting that person's age, the older person's age. And then below that, you want to target the younger person's age. Why? Because most younger people are going to, or fewer younger people are going to be looking for that memory improvement, as opposed to older people. And then you have to think about the transformational reasons why they're doing it. So the older person, what we found out from our research was they want to remember their keys. They want to remember birthdays. They have to remember to take their medication. Super big one on that one. With the younger person, they wanted to increase their college performance. They wanted to be able to take 18 credits a semester. They wanted to, do you remember what else it was? There were like 3 main ones. One that we thought was really funny was some guy was like, because I keep forgetting my girlfriend's our monthly anniversary or something, but we didn't use that. But yeah, so, and the way that you would find that, honestly, is if you go and you could join Facebook groups where people are talking about memory loss and, you know, techniques and tactics that they can use. You can go down and look in the reviews. You can look at from your competitors or yours. You can look at questions. You can go to like the big brand name sites, places like Focus Factor or, you know, the big nootropics, and kind of look at what their customers are saying in their reviews. Because you really, the whole point of the NLP and the conversational hypnosis, and this is something we teach in that training, is that you have to see inside your customer's head to get your customer to buy, right? So you can do, it's more complex, but you can sell a product to 2 different groups, but only if you have a really good reason to do it. Like that would be a really good reason to do it, because you really do target those 2 groups. Or, you know, let's say you have like a dog chew toy, right? You can't just sell the dog chew toy for, you know, dogs, for big dogs, if it serves big dogs and medium-sized dogs and puppies. You really want to sell to all those groups, and you have to make sure you hit all of those, you know, target points. So I hope that explains that. Was that?
Yes, it's
understandable? Okay.
It's a great idea, I think, to just split, to target both groups into different, through the different bullet points.
As long as you have a reason to do it, don't just try to target everybody, because you have to think there's this like this line, right? It's kind of like a scale. So at one end, you have things you can say that are going to move people away from the sale, which repels people, right? And at one end, you have things that move people towards the sale. The more you can say this is customized specifically to solve your problem and transform your life, right? That's moving them towards the sale. But the more watered down you have it, you're moving them more and more towards not making that purchase, because they think, oh, well, this is made for everybody. This isn't made for me. This solves like 50 problems. And it's kind of challenging. And for example, we just did a whole bunch of listings for these really high grade, therapeutic grade, organic essential oils, which is really fun. I love doing those. And they do like 50 things, right? And so you have to kind of decide, am I going to speak to the person who is using this peppermint oil for arthritis? Or am I going to speak to the person who wants to clean their house? Well, there are ways to break that up, and that's something, again, we go over in the training. So you can say, this cleans your house. It's like a, multi-use product. But with each one of those, you still have to paint the transformation of how that works. So that way the person they catch what they really want to buy the product for, but everything else is like when you add bonuses on a sales page, right? Like, oh yeah, I heard peppermint kills XYZ. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I heard peppermint kills bacteria. Oh wow, so my house was more fresh and clean. That's great. Transformation is nobody gets sick. Transformation is, we have fewer germs. Transformation is my house smells fresh. Oh, peppermint can also clear out my lungs when I'm sick. Oh, peppermint can also, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a stacker, right? So you're stacking the features, benefits, and transformation, but you want to see what most people are buying it for first, and then focus on that. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. So
I can talk about this stuff all day. So.
A couple of people were asking in the chat, do you write copy for Facebook ads, or if not, will you do it in the future?
I do. We do it for e-com, and we've done it for coaches. We've done it a lot. Actually, our coaching copy was insane. We were getting we were turning and we stopped doing it because it became so expensive to do that on Facebook in terms of the cost. But we were turning every $1.47 into 130 something. With someone we were doing, it was like they were becoming an EFT coach.
Yeah,
and so
the cost of marketing their services.
Yeah. And
$137 annually.
No, that was $137 monthly because the package they were offering. Yeah, so that was really cool. In terms of e-com products, yeah, we can do that. But we also I'm curious to know if the person's asking because they're talking about the page 1 and 2 week strategy. Is that what is that where they're asking? Is there any way to find out?
Not sure. I think just person wanted to know what kind of services more you are offering.
Yeah, well, anything that compels people to buy something or change a belief, or we have a whole different division where we do nonprofits because we spend about 50% of our company, everybody in our company actually spends about 40 to 50% of our week in philanthropy. And so we do a lot of free stuff for nonprofits. We also do some paid stuff for nonprofits. We do, if it's sales copy they need, that's fine. If they need guidance on how to, what they should have in their sales funnel, we do that. But most people come in as Amazon sellers. And of course, most Amazon sellers have just like we do, 7 lines of business. You're not just selling on Amazon. You also have sales funnels. You have, your ebooks, and you have your video training series, and you have your, your webinars. So we write those, and we write the sales copy for those, and we tell people how to structure their funnels. And we can tell, we've been doing this for so long, we can tell you just about anything you want to know. And if we can't, then we'll,
And we really live by the standard
of still talking, I don't think you can hear. Go ahead.
Doing well by doing good.
Yeah, we live by the standard of doing well by doing good. So if we can help in any way, we always will. That being said, we don't write things like business proposals. We don't write, what are some of the other ones people have come and asked us about? This is just so weird. Financial proposals. We don't, and it just real big caveat here, it has to be a good product. We don't write for things that don't deliver. So, and we will find out if it doesn't. We request documents and do research and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah, we help people decide on products and which products they should add to their line as well. We make those suggestions without, it's unsolicited guidance. So they'll say, oh, well, we have, this brand and we're selling X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, did you know we ran this competitive analysis and you should really look at sourcing one of these and add this to your line. And people do it and they make money, which it's just fun. I mean, why would we keep quiet about it if we can help them? So anyhow, sorry, rambling, but yeah. And are there any other questions, or are we?
No, I think we're good. And so can you repeat once again what's your website and how people can get in touch via email?
How they can get in touch via email is if they go to AmazonSalesGuru.com and they look in the top right-hand corner, there's my email address. They should have, I think you said you're sending out the links to the trainings. Or to the different offers, like the freebie and the link to the slides and things like that. But if for some reason they don't receive it, they can go and email me. They can also email me if they have any questions. So, and I mean that. Don't stand there and not know what you need to know to sell on Amazon, please email me. Don't go it alone. So
It's just Diane at AmazonSalesGuru.com.
yeah, and it's Diane at AmazonSalesGuru.com. Did you see that? My battery lift thing just popped up. You just plugged it in.
Great. Thank you very much, Diane.
Thank you again. It was great doing this with you
information.
again, and I can't wait till we can
Thank
come up
you.
with something else we can help people with.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.